All right, so we're back. And guys, as one Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would say, finally, Deji, aka Comedy Shorts Gamer, has come back to the YouTube boxing scene. And yes, the last time we saw Deji was a pretty humiliating loss on the Social Crooks card. He came out trying to imitate Mike Tyson with the towel on, but unfortunately left that ring imitating a Halo 2 teabag because his cardio just wasn't up to snuff. I mean, he came in almost as unprepared as the guy you guys call my twin brother. Yes, the Brillo pad, poof ball haircut, the dad bod boxing expert himself, Ben Askren. But here's the good part. It's all in the past. Deji has apparently since that fight been on hiatus. I'll just say the rumor is he's been working hard because there's a comeback fight on the horizon. And today we have new training footage. So let's get into this. Deji is back in a boxing gym, and that would mean possibly he has an opponent in a fight coming up. But my big question is this. Has anything changed? Is Deji actually taking this seriously? Breakdown. Let's go. All right, before we watch this, I have to say, the W.A.D.E Concept Media team, which is all of you guys, we have our fair share of scoops. We're basically the ice cream truck. We got the scoops in this bitch. But I gotta give credit to Niall at the bread batch. He finds some of this shit out of nowhere, so fair play to him, man. And yes, you guys did tell me that this is the same gym that Team Great Britain and Anthony Joshua train out of, so it does lend to another encouraging factor. If you're a Deji fan, he is going to a real team with real coaches. It's a great move. Okay. Ooh, I like that lead hook. I'm just watching it through the first couple times here, guys. I just want to see this. It's only 15 seconds. I like that. In and out of range. Bang the lead hook at the end. Okay, so right away, we see Deji is back in his southpaw stance. Although he does look a little pushy with the backhand, and this is what I've always said about Deji. He's that Austin McBroom type, and I think he either is right-handed or he's more comfortable with his lead hand. This is what I'm talking about, right? That jab's nice. You see a little bit of a push with the backhand, though, and that could be drilled. Absolutely, no doubt about it, right? He could be drilling, working on his power with the lead hand, with the jab, with the hook. But watch this. Look at this straight left hand. Boom, it just touches. There's no turnover in that shot. And again, more evidence to why I feel this way is us going back to the Vinny Hacker fight. Watch when Deji throws his straight left hand out of southpaw. He doesn't throw it as a cross behind a jab. He throws that as his leading attack off the backhand. And it's been done before, of course, but it's done in variation. Deji threw it almost exclusively to then switch to orthodox to throw big right hands over the top or with the uppercut. The hook definitely has more devastation on it, and it's thrown with more hip rotation. You can see that. Boom, boom, turn the hip over. What he's doing here is he's transferring that weight from front foot to back, right? And you'll see guys get up on that lead toe to exaggerate that twist even more. But Deji's not even doing that. That's all hip right here. That foot stays down. He's still getting that hip activation, which you'll see guys that can and don't want to waste that movement of turning over the lead toe actually be able to do. Boom, boom, boom. Big turnover in the hips. That's good, man. I like it a lot. That's good explosion. I really like the pop in Deji's lead hand. I love this rhythm step he takes. Usually you don't want to encourage guys crossing over, right? He circles out here, takes the drop step, circles out. He crosses over with the lead foot, and that can be problematic, obviously, if there's an opponent that is pressuring, but I just love that rhythm step. It just shows he's switched on, right? And guys, I can nitpick all day about Deji throwing hooks from his hip or maybe not having the most rotation on his straight left hand and really firing that thing off and punching through that pad, because again, they could be drilling something different, or that Deji does throw a bit with his chin straight up in the air. But again, I don't look at Deji as a professional boxer. In fact, if you guys go back to my old videos, I said he shouldn't be boxing ever again because he's not committed. But in this video, and yes, it's hard to tell because we're watching on what looks like Macintosh 98 boot up fucking floppy disk internet, but Deji does look a bit more focused. He looks a bit more in shape. That's really all anybody wanted from Deji. Win, lose, or draw, a guy that was going to come in and do what he said he was going to do. And whatever the result is, you don't feel like you let anyone down because you gave it your all. Now, can we take a lot from a 15-second video and apply it to Deji as a boxer? Like, this is supposed to be all we look at and say Deji is good or Deji is bad? Of course not. We have 2 full fights of Deji footage to go off of and say, this is where he struggles, this is where he's good. He struggles, obviously, with his cardio, but it's not just that. He struggles a bit technically as well, because He is on the mitts here, and we've seen Deji look fairly good on either mitts or some random person he's sparring that isn't hitting him back and he's wailing on in the corner, right? Those are easy places to look good, and I'm not discounting Deji at all by saying this. I'm just saying let's have managed expectations for what we see. I don't want to leave you guys with some perception that Deji, in my mind, is on some new, groundbreaking level. I don't truly believe that's the case. The two things that I see aren't necessarily even talent related. I see a more focused guy and a guy that is concerned with being prepared. Those two things, in my opinion, are more important than his actual skill level, because when those two factors are met, his skill level will naturally increase because he is more serious, because he is more concerned with not letting himself down, not letting you guys down, that he's not going to go in there and half-ass. He is going to full-ass his effort in the fight. And if we're going to be talking about Deji's next fight, I know everyone wants to throw out these wild fantasy matchups and what would Deji look like against Jake again, or what would he look like against Austin? In my opinion, you don't want to put a guy like Deji, who has lost in a pretty humiliating fashion in his last fight, back in there against a guy that has proven himself to be on the higher list of these YouTube boxers, like an Austin McBroom or a Gibb or a Taylor Holder. I don't want to see him in there with any of those guys. I say you throw him in there with someone around his skill level, a Bryce Hall, a rematch with Vinny Hacker. Alex Wasabi was on this actual Instagram post talking that stuff to him. That fight makes sense. Both guys coming off a loss, throw them in there, and then we'll see. Does Deji actually want to do this? This video makes me want to believe the answer is yes, but it is just 15 seconds, and he has 2 other fights and 2 other camps that say otherwise. Deji, you don't have to convince me. You don't have to convince anyone else. You got to convince you. When you do that, and when you commit to this boxing thing, no matter the result, you can go in there, give everything you have, and have no regrets. That's what he needs, and I hope that's what he's doing. But the question I have as we leave off, can Deji actually do this and make a comeback story a reality? I guess we'll find out.